Welcome back, everybody. Today we're diving deep into the world of art directors. We've got
Yeah.
some really interesting info to dig into, career guides, interview insights, all from RoleCatcher. It'll be interesting to unpack this idea of the art director
Yeah.
and really try to understand like what it takes to become one and why it matters now, maybe more than ever.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny because I think, when a lot of people think about like an art director, they get this image in their head, right? Like somebody agonizing over paint swatches, kind of
Yeah.
tucked away in a studio somewhere.
Right.
But it's so much bigger than that.
Yeah, so let's ditch the studio and get into like the real deal. RoleCatcher calls them visual architects, which I mean that sounds pretty cool.
It does, yeah.
But what's that actually mean?
Yeah, it's about, I always think about it like transloading,
Right.
right? You're translating a client's vision, which a lot of times is, make it pop.
Right, right.
That's what they'll give you. And you have to translate that into something real, something visual. So, you have to understand colors, like what makes an impact, typography, how it all works together, how it tells a story.
So it's more than just like, oh, this looks pretty, this doesn't look pretty.
Totally.
It's like a very strategic way of communicating visually.
Yeah, and that's why I think, we're seeing art directors kind of break out of that mold of like just, agencies, advertising agencies.
Right.
You think about video games, the world that they create. They're immersive, right? Or even UX, like on a website, making sure it's beautiful but also easy to use. It's an art director, behind a lot of that.
That's so true. I'm thinking about like my favorite video game right now.
Yeah.
The environments are just incredible and I never even like stop to think about how much thought goes into all that.
Totally.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, with all those different industries, the skills must vary so much.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you need the artistic talent, of course.
Yeah.
That's the foundation. But it's the other stuff, too. It's like, when you talk about those hard skills, soft skills, all that,
Yeah.
RoleCatcher was talking about, coordination, listening, thinking critically.
Yeah.
Those are important.
That sounds like, honestly, like a CEO.
Right.
Not like what you think of with the creative field.
And that's what's exciting about it, I think. Because you're, imagine you're redesigning a website. You're not just choosing a font and a color. You're working with developers. You're looking at, user data. You're figuring out those creative differences because those always come up, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
And you need those soft skills to navigate all that.
It's like you're bringing together an orchestra,
Totally.
all these different like talents to make one final beautiful product. Okay, so let's say you're dreaming of being an art director.
Yeah.
Where do you even begin? Is it like a certain degree that's like the key to getting in the door?
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to say there's like a one size fits all, like this is the path. But honestly, a bachelor's degree is pretty common. Fine arts, graphic design. I've even seen, interactive design. It depends on where you want to go with it, So exploring those different like branches of art direction can really help you figure out, okay, what do I need to study?
Yeah.
What's the path here?
So, okay, you've got your degree, you're ready, you're excited.
Yep.
What does that trajectory look like?
Mm.
Do you start as an intern just getting coffee?
I mean, there might be some coffee involved,
Oh, yeah.
but honestly, RoleCatcher has a really good breakdown of like the career stages. And I think that helps to kind of visualize it.
Yeah.
Usually it's like a junior art director, and that's your time to learn.
Right, like a sponge.
Totally. Soak it all up, work with those senior designers, You're learning the ropes, building your portfolio.
Yeah, getting that experience.
Exactly. Getting those foundational skills, from software to how to talk to clients. And then, as you get that experience and that confidence, you can move up to that full-fledged art director role. And that's when you're leading the charge.
You're not just taking orders, you're the one giving them.
Exactly.
You're
Yeah.
setting the vision.
And that means understanding what the client wants, really understanding it. You're translating their brand into this visual language and then bringing in a team of designers to make it happen.
It sounds like it's a lot of pressure though, right? Like
Yeah.
you're the one, you said, leading the charge,
Yeah.
but you're also dealing with clients.
Yeah.
Like get some tough personalities in there.
Yeah. You're not kidding. I think one of the biggest things, honestly, is dealing with those creative clashes. Like you put your heart into something and the client's like, nope.
Oh yeah, I bet that stings. How do you deal with that? Like, do you just say, okay, well, you're the client, or
Right. You don't want to just be a yes man. Right. That's where that active listening comes in.
okay,
Like you have to really hear them.
Yeah.
Why are they saying no? Figure out where your vision and their needs, where's the overlap?
find that sweet spot.
Exactly. Sometimes you start over, but sometimes you have to really fight for your idea, but in a way that makes sense for them.
Yeah, be like an advocate,
Yes.
not just like, here's your design.
Exactly. I actually remember RoleCatcher had some really good interview questions about this. Like, I think one was, how do you handle creative differences with a client? Or even like a team member.
Oh, yeah, they want to know you can handle conflict.
Totally. And it's not enough to just be like, oh, yeah, I'm a team player.
Yeah, yeah.
They want examples,
Right, so like, tell me about a time you really disagreed with someone on a design.
Exactly. What did you do? How did you find that middle ground? That tells them way more than, just saying you're good at it.
For sure, for sure. Because it shows, like, you can
Mhm.
problem solve, you can adapt, which, I mean, for an art director, that's got to be key. Okay, then you get through all that, you're acing the interviews, you're moving up,
You got it.
maybe even mentoring other designers.
Yeah.
What then? Is that it? Or can you, like, keep going?
That's what's so cool about it. Like, there's so many paths you can take.
Oh, wow.
Maybe you become like the expert in one specific thing,
Okay.
like UI UX or motion graphics.
Right. Yeah.
Or you go the leadership route, senior art director, chief creative officer even.
Oh, wow. So from like leading a small team to a whole company's vision.
That's the thing. But it's not just about the day-to-day projects anymore, right?
Right. You're thinking bigger picture.
Yeah, like what's the whole design system? Is the brand consistent everywhere? How is it all working, on a bigger scale? Because design, it can drive a business. It can really get a brand out there.
Yeah. And at that level, it's like strategy and marketing. It's not even just design, really. It's
Right.
all connected.
Oh, 100%. Which is why all those skills we talked about, listening, thinking critically, being organized, those are even more important the higher you go. Because you're not just, solving a design problem. You're a leader. You're a mentor. You're thinking about the whole picture. You understand how design, it really makes an impact. It changes how people see things.
But influencing decisions almost.
Yeah.
And that reminds me, we're talking about this increasingly visual world.
Yeah.
AI.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
RoleCatcher mentioned it. We can't ignore it. It's like the elephant in the room, or I guess the robot.
Right. The robot
Are we all just going to be out of a job? The robots are coming for us. And
I wouldn't panic just yet. It's definitely changing things. I think it's more of a tool, though. It's not going to replace us. It's about, how do you use it to your advantage?
so how do we work with the robots, not against them?
Exactly. Think of all those things that take forever to do.
Oh, yeah, all the boring stuff.
Right. Resizing images, tweaking a logo a million times, even just coming up with some first drafts. AI can do that.
Oh, that's amazing.
So then you have more time for the good stuff.
So more time for the brainstorming, the big ideas, because the robot can't do that, right?
Not yet, at least.
Okay.
Because, AI can look at a lot of data, make a nice looking design, but it can't really understand emotions, or like what makes sense in different cultures. That human touch, that's still important.
It's like they can make it look good, but does it actually like speak to people?
That's it. It's that difference.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's why art directors are even more important now with all this AI stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Because someone's got to take that technology and, refine it, make sure it's saying the right thing.
Make it human.
Yes. And make sure it still has that, emotional impact. It can't just be a robot making designs.
Instead of those AI art pieces, right?
Yeah.
Like some are cool technically, but they're missing something.
Exactly. It's
Well-
like, where's the heart in it? And that's the art director's job, to bring that in. So it's not just about AI versus people. It's about using both together.
To make something even better.
Yeah, like imagine you're launching a new product. Okay, AI can look at tons of data, figure out what people like, and make something that looks good. But then you come in, and you're like, okay, but what's the story here? What's the feeling we want? That's what takes it to the next level.
So the AI is like the assistant, and you're still the director.
Exactly, because you get it. You get what makes people tick. AI can't do that. Not yet, anyway.
Well, that's kind of reassuring. So it's not just about making pretty things. It's about, I don't know, almost understanding people.
Yeah, and isn't that what it's all about, really? This whole art direction thing?
Yeah, because it's everywhere, Websites, products, even just walking down the street.
Oh, totally. And it affects us, even if we don't realize it. It's powerful stuff. And, who knows what's next with technology and all. But one thing's for sure, art directors, they've got to be ready for anything.
It's like you got to be creative, but also like Think strategically. It's a lot. But it sounds like an amazing career.
It really is. Challenging, but so rewarding.
We covered so much, from starting out to the challenges to the robots. What's like the one thing you want people to remember about art directors?
That it's more than meets the eye, you know? It's art, it's strategy, it's even psychology a little bit. And in this world we live in where everyone's bombarded with images all the time, that's a superpower.
To cut through the noise and make something meaningful.
Exactly.
Well said. And for anyone listening who's like ready to jump into this world, don't forget about RoleCatcher.
Oh yeah, they've got some great stuff.
They can help you with interview prep, with understanding the whole thing. It's a great resource. And with that, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive. Thanks to everyone for listening, and a huge thank you to you, as always, for sharing your insights.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Until next time, keep those creative sparks flying.